Hey, I'm trying to live until I die. Come connect, you know it's a lewd state of mind. Yeah, yeah, talking traveling. If you wanna fly, fitness and finance, living a better life, keep it raw, no filter, living with no limit. Thank you for tuning in. Come on, let's get it.
Sir, welcome to Lured State of Mind. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
I am Stu, owner of F45 St Kilda and FS8 St Kilda.
F45. What's the F for?
Functional.
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 Explain functional to me.
Oh, so functional, it's designed to be what you would do in a everyday life. So lunging would be replicated to stairs.
Yep.
And so you would look at the exercises that they replicate as functional, and they should correlate to your everyday movements. So, you know, back at school when you would be doing math and you'd be like, I'm never going to use this, right? It's kind of, that's the functional concept, is that the exercises that you do at F45 should correlate to your movements in life and help you with your day-to-day living.
Rightio, we're going to have to address the elephant in the room, mate.
Go on.
Is F45 fit or is it fucked?
It's going down. No, look, there's been a lot of publicity in here, and I was prepared for you to come and talk to me. Nah, it's been good to address it, because I think from the outside looking in, there's been a lot of publicity that F45 is going down. But I think what really is unfortunately happening is that F45 is a group of franchisees. They're small business owners, full stop. Whether you talk about it being a huge, big global brand, at the end of the day, it's a franchise. Mm-hmm. A franchise with franchisees that, on a smaller scale, are trying to make a living in a community. Some aren't going to survive and some aren't going to do well, and I think COVID has really brought that to the surface. F45 HQ as a brand itself is fine. What we are seeing is a result of some people just not bouncing back like they did before COVID.
So you still think there's the COVID lag that's causing these problems? Because, I mean, you look at the stats, 1 in 10 franchisees have their businesses on the market at the moment. Are people jumping ship?
Well, you've got to look at a few things. There's a reason why they would be. We're coming up to our 10-year. So
your 10-year or 10-year for the franchise?
10-year for the franchise. So you've got people that have already done their 5 years that will need to renew, and then you've got others that will be coming up to their.
Okay, well let's just stop you there.
Yeah.
5-year renewal. How does that work? And I don't understand that.
Most franchises are a 5-year agreement.
Really?
So you will see at the 5-year mark either sales or a renewal, just purely because that's just how it works. People
just the same as a lease, renewing
exactly.
a lease on a building.
But you know, you're the outside looking in. You're going to be like, oh, there's all these sales coming through. They mustn't be doing well. I think sometimes people are tired. I know for myself, I'm working harder than what I've ever had to make sales this time around than what I did before COVID.
How many in your team?
There's 8. Oh, that's across 2 studios. Are we talking about F45 still?
Yeah.
So in my team, there's 4.
We'll get to FS8
Okay.
down the line.
There's 4.
So you're a tight unit.
Tight.
Because
when you're trying to run a boutique style, you want personalization. You want to know that the staff know the members, and if you've got a really big team, that just doesn't happen. So, you know, I've got a team in the morning, team in the afternoon. They don't really cross over too much, but, you know, same as any kind of routine. You don't. If you're a morning person, that's it. You train in the morning.
Yep.
If you're an afternoon person, you train in the afternoon. So we try to keep. There's a little bit of synergy there in terms of who you see every afternoon, so that they build a relationship with you. To do that, they're going to have hours. So I try to run a lean ship. Sometimes it does, become a bit tricky when there's a lot of people sick. But when it's working well, that's the perfect little number, I believe.
Now, you used the word boutique.
Yes.
Was that the intention of Rob Deutsch when he started this franchise back in 2012? Is that what he wanted? I mean, you think about the globalization of the franchise, how quickly it's grown, how big it's become. Is that still his was that his original thought pattern, was to create this boutique gym experience?
I'm not sure whether that was his. I feel like when they got together, it was based off an accountant putting figures together and basically say this will work. What they did say was that atmosphere would be the number one thing. And if you have a look at the first initial F45s, they didn't really put too much money into the bathrooms. I know this sounds like a very trivial thing, but it was based on the studio, how it operated, the technology, the vibe, make sure that you've got a DJ that's running. Like, it was more about the bells and whistles of what an F45 was. You were supposed to walk in literally onto the studio floor ready to train. Boutique, I say boutique because anything that's under 300 in my mind, or anything around that 200 mark, me personally, I feel I've got a connection and a touch point with every one of my members. Prior to me working in F45, I worked for big box gyms. Big box gyms are the ones where it's like 5,000 members. You've got your pool, spa, Group X. That's not a boutique. So when I talk boutique, we specialize in a certain area. So F45 specializes in running classes, running those small group personal training sessions.
Okay, well, so let's break it down even further. What exactly does F45 do on a daily basis for its members?
Yeah, so it will run a specified class per day that will run all day. Across the week, you should be able to experience a full body workout, both incorporating cardio and weights within those 7 days. By the end of your week, you've incorporated every body part. You've incorporated every style of exercise from anaerobic to aerobic.
And the 45's for the 45-minute
45
duration?
minute, yeah.
You do a 60-minute session as well?
Oh, we do on a Saturday. Saturday is where the Hollywood comes in.
Hollywood
comes in, and it's a minute. It's an hour long. That's where it's like the final frontier. Before Sundays came in, it was like everyone finished Saturday as the full stop of the sentence.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we would, it's the last hurrah of the week.
For sure.
You've got to bring out the big guns, don't you? So it's every exercise that you've done throughout the week. You've got the DJ playing. You've got, everyone's there for that final workout. So that's your Saturday.
You're talking about DJ. So we're talking about a DJ.
I know.
We're talking about a DJ in every session. So there's a DJ in the corner of your studio for every session that you provide during the week. Is that correct?
Oh, I wish it was. No, it's only on a Saturday.
That's it. Only on Saturday.
Only on Saturday. That's it's the big kahuna. You got to put it on for the last one.
I'm gonna have to come down and experience it.
Please do.
I will.
You will be my guest. VIP guest.
I hope. What do I get as VIP?
Me.
Oh, is that a good or a bad thing?
I don't know. You'll have to ask a few of my members.
Well, let's ask Ash, because Ash is on the production desk as well.
Well, I didn't want to drag her out, but I thought,
Well,
ask Ash.
Ask Ash. What's great about F45 for you, Ashley?
It has been one of the best experiences of my fitness journey. It's always different. Stu brings the energy, and I found my people.
Wow, how much did you pay her to say that?
Thank you, Ash. But I think that she's hit a point. She found her people. And I think that's what we forget, what F45 and like any other smaller group personal training studio provides is your tribe.
Yeah. Well, and it should be part of your routine and a habit that you should keep for as long as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got bad habits. Good habits is going to the gym, exercising, sleeping well, eating well. We know all about that. So it sounds like what you guys provide keeps people in that habit, and they just want to keep coming back.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to experience it at some point.
I can't wait to show you. You'll love it.
Hey, look, we talked a little bit about what's going on in the press
Yes.
with F45. As an owner, a franchisee, does that affect you on a daily basis?
Do you know what? Me personally, it has affected me. So I'll talk to you about my personal experience. I own St Kilda. Surrounding me is Port Melbourne, South Yarra, Paran, Malvern, St Kilda East. That's my perimeter. In my perimeter, Port Melbourne, South Yarra, Malvern, gone.
When did they go?
Port Melbourne and South Yarra went last year.
So post-COVID.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And Malvern went last year.
Owners or investors?
Investors.
Okay. So you're saying that that's pretty much the problem with these facilities, is that they're owned by people that look at dollars and cents and not personalities and profiles?
I think that there's so many layers that come into it, and every personal opinion, every personalized situation will be different. What I think sometimes can happen and put strain and pressure on a small business is the disconnect. Like I said, F45 was to be boutique, know everyone, have a personalized touch with your members, right? Owner operator will always be the number one preferred option than an investor. No one will ever run your business as good as what you will.
No.
That's just how it always is.
I agree. Franchise or no franchise, it's the same.
Yeah. I tried to get a franchise with another business model, and I was denied because I wanted to be an investor.
Oh,
and
really?
they said flat out, that doesn't work.
It's not what we want.
We need owner operators. Now, back in the day, F45, you could be an investor. You could have really good staff, and you could run really good sessions.
Has that changed though?
I think COVID changed, and COVID dropped a lot of those personal trainers out of the market.
But does F45, if you're buying a franchise,
Yeah.
do they only sell to owner operators?
I don't know. I can't say yes or no. What I can say is that there's no franchises left, so we're not selling any.
Okay.
We're only reselling. But in terms of them being resold I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but in the last town hall, that was my question. My question was, knowing how franchises operate and knowing the best way to get a strong franchise network that is from owner operators, are we recruiting better, and are we vetting the next line of people coming through? Because obviously there are sales, and
what was the answer to that
they
question?
said yes. They said we are. That I nailed it on the head. They recognized that they needed to make sure that the people coming into the network were going to be invested in the studio itself and not just be an investor. So it gives us strength, and it gives us confidence moving forward that, things will change, things will evolve, things will develop. And right now, F45 is moving into a development stage. We're not in growth. Growth has already happened. We've got 500 studios in Australia, and we're talking about 5 that have dropped.
In total?
Well, if you talk about the last PR clickbait that came through, they were talking about 8, I think.
Yeah.
So if you talk about, it's not even 10%.
Well, yeah, so the stats, they don't lie. It's not that bad. I mean, there's obviously a lot of press, and they love to pick it up and run clickbait. And I just from my point of view and the research I've done, it just seems that somebody's created this product, and in an industry like the fitness industry where trends can come and go, it seems like it's doing its time and it's done its time. Now, if you say to me you're in a growth phase or a semi-rebuilding phase, how do you see that playing out? I mean,
we've already done our growth. We're in development. So I think it just
development.
Yeah. So I think what it does is it just changes the way that you run and operate your studio. So F45 year 1 to now F45 year 9 will be a very different experience. The technology that they're implementing, the equipment that they're using has changed. So for a member that's been there from day 1 to now, there's been growth in the experience of an F45. There's more to come, but that's
Can you elaborate on that?
I don't know. Can I? I'm trying. Hold on. Let me just before I start talking. So there's new equipment that's come into F45, like ski ergs, bike ergs, rowers. Right, we always had rowers. The bikes have changed, and the ski ergs have changed. Part of technology that they're implementing, which will start next week. So if this doesn't go out till then doesn't matter. But what they've done is they've developed technology where all of the ergs, they call them, are connected to our technology. And as a way of coaching, we can see on screens in live data how hard our members are racing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so now I can sit in a room while coaching someone doing bench press. I can sit and spot that person. At the same time, I can hit about 9 members on ski ergs or bike ergs or any kind of ergs with live data that they have not, or they aren't reaching a certain speed, distance, whether they're competing against the person next to them, which will be on technology. So this is a new development that they've brought in, and it's just one of many that are coming through.
Okay, so the future's exciting for you as a franchisee.
I think that's just what you have to do. Like you said, we got to move with the trends. I think that the style of training, it hasn't changed.
Well, if it ain't broke, don't try to
exactly.
fix it. Really, is it?
Group fitness and a style of group fitness will always be here, whether it was a Les Mills pre-choreographed class that everyone did to now doing F45. The overarching group that it is, it's called group fitness. So this is now just a more refined, a more polished way of doing it, where it's incorporating coaches that have got the experience and also got the ability to deliver a much more complex workout, where back in the day, group fitness was more about you sitting back, instructing a class of, say, 50, where now you're able to be in with them. You've got TV screens that are prompting the members on what they're doing, and you've got these coaches in there providing technique, giving people direction in terms of progress, regress. Like, these are the things that I think members want. And, you know, if you think about F45 is almost like what Anytime Fitness was for the 24/7 gym franchise. Anytime Fitness came into the market and everyone went 24/7 gym, that won't last.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden they were like, actually, it's working really well, quick. And then you got Jets, then you had Snap, then you had Plus. Like, all of those brands fed off Anytime Fitness. Anytime Fitness is still here, and so are those other brands.
Exactly. Well, you've got to cater the market, don't you? You know.
Exactly. So it's just, you know, F45 now is here, and everyone was like, oh, well, you know, it's here to stay. Then you've got Body Fit, you have Fit Stop, you've got Air Locker. Like, all of these other ones are feeding off an F45 brand. So
who's your average punter? Who's your average client? Well, not I say average. I mean,
no one's average.
Exactly. What type of client comes to F45, and why?
It used to be a 29 or 28 to 35 professional. It was a split of 50-50.
Male, female.
Male, female. That has now shifted. The last data that's come out has shifted by 5 years. It's now sitting around 35 to 40 is kind of where it is, or 32 to 38 or something around that, right?
That's for the age.
That's for the age.
And what
Still
about
the same.
same demographic.
Same
for male,
demographic, yeah. There's still a split. My argument to that is whether or not it's just the same members. They've just gotten older.
Yeah, well, you'll find that.
Do you know? And that's what I kind of think. I think that, that's potentially what has happened. Not mad about it. I think that it's great. It just shows that, the members that do enjoy F45 have continued and have stayed. The older generation or the older person coming in, it might be that it's taken them a little bit of time to adopt into an F45. But thinking about that space, F45 is what they're choosing.
Which is what you want.
So
as a franchisee, would you buy another franchise now?
I would.
Yes, you would.
I would. I just had this conversation with my partner last night. Because he
How'd
said,
it go? How'd the conversation
well,
go?
the conversation went, it was about F45, and he was concerned about the longevity of it and said, if F45 goes under, what are we going to do?
What are you going to do?
Well, I said, open the doors. I said, F45 has opened the ability for us to create a gym. Whether they come to F45 St Kilda or whether they come to Stu's gym, that's what you got to ask yourself. I strongly believe the reason why people come to my gym is because of me. I'm the personality, I'm the face, I run those classes. I use F45 to facilitate my class, but essentially the reason why people come back day in, day out is because of the individualization and the quality that I provide when I run those classes.
And saying that, if you could do it over again,
Yeah.
would you buy a franchise or start your own gym?
I would buy a franchise.
Why?
I think that there's strength in numbers.
But you've just explained to me that if F45 fails, you're going to open up Stu's gym.
Yeah, because I've rode off the coattails of F45 to create my community.
Do you not think that you could have done that from day one?
Oh yeah, I could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you just wanted that security from the franchise. The reason why I ask is that, I've been in business for 30 years and I understand what franchises afford their franchisees. I see myself doing the job myself instead of not relying, but buying into a system that somebody else has created where you can quite easily learn the skills to do that, like exactly what you're doing. So, as I said, it's just interesting to get the mindset from somebody that buys a franchise or they start their own business.
When you've got a good franchise, I used to work for a company that I used to work for Plus Fitness. It was a 24/7 gym franchise. The reason why it worked so well in terms of its network was that the processes and procedures that they put in place as a network showed a strength across Australia. Everyone had the exact same branding, everyone had the exact same marketing, everyone ran all of the sales. The ideas, the IP, everything is filtered into this web, as you would say. The franchisees are your web, and as it grows bigger and bigger, the wealth and knowledge comes into that, right? In saying that, you can always learn. And whether or not I wanted to run an F45 or whether I wanted to run Stu's gym, the reason why I said I could do it successfully was if the chips were down. We invested all our money into F45. What are we going to do? What's the backup plan? The backup plan is us. But essentially, I want to be a part of a franchise where they're the ones that are coming up with this development. They're the ones that are coming up with this technology. They're the ones that are putting together, this is, where the market is leading. This is where we need to move, and this is the trends. To do that on your own on a regular basis constantly is very tiring. to do that on a network where you have got people above that are doing that. You've got a whole team working on just programming. You've got a whole team working on just marketing. You've got a whole team working on just artwork and development. Like, these are the things that, as part of a franchise, is given to you because you're part of a network. It's probably one of the biggest draw cards when you come into the fitness industry, because when you think about the fitness industry, it's like Coca-Cola, right? You can have a soda, but if you want a Coca-Cola, everyone knows what Coca-Cola is, right? But you have a soda that you've made at home from a soda stream, right? You give that to someone. What is this? Well, it's the same thing. It's bubbles. It's liquid and bubbles.
And sugar.
And sugar, right? But everyone knows Coca-Cola.
Exactly.
You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to sit there and have to prove yourself to anyone. Everyone knows what a Coca-Cola is, and if you buy that from a shop, you know what you're going to get.
You're saying F45 is
Exactly.
in that same bracket?
100%. Why do they keep clicking on it?
Yeah. Are they doing enough? As a franchisee, are you happy that they're doing enough?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I think that I think with any franchisee and franchisor, that's a very complicated relationship. And it will always be different depending on how your franchise is going.
Yep.
You know.
And you're quite satisfied with the way you're tracking at the moment?
Look, no, not really. I would be more satisfied if it was higher, but I think that's just every franchise. Look, to be honest, coming back from COVID, it was a lot harder. We lost momentum. But I think a lot of I'm just going to say small business, not even F45. I'm going to say across the board in the fitness industry, we all lost momentum. All of our gyms were shut down. We lost routine. We sit here and talk about that's what we try to provide to members is routine, is connection, is a community. All that was taken away, right? We all had to start from scratch. We all had to start from zero. You've got a truck that's going at 120 kilometers per hour and it hits something. It's not going to matter. It's going to keep going because that momentum is pushing, right? You stop that truck from zero and you try and get it back to 120. It's going to take some time.
Well, let's talk about COVID. I mean, obviously, being in the fitness industry, you're at the coalface. Shut down.
Yes. Melbourne shut down. Inner city.
Exactly. I've heard people, we've had guests on here, they got shut down for a couple of weeks, and I just go, pfft.
Yeah.
You know, we had 3 months.
Bit more. Well, the gyms had a lot more.
How did that affect you personally?
It emotionally was pretty rough. Like, even thinking about it now, it's kind of hitting hard.
Yeah.
Like you open up these studios, you do anything small business, right? That's hard on its own.
Exactly.
It's hard on its own. And then you take away, you take away the fact that you have no control of it being shut down, whether that's poor management, right? These are excuses that you could have. Poor management shut it down, blah, blah, blah. But when it's taken away from you,
it's taken out of your hands.
When it's taken out of your hands, you need to shut down full stop. And it brings to the forefront all your fears. My biggest fear in life is fear of failure.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
Massively. Like, even saying it out loud, I'm like, you just don't talk about that. I don't talk about the fear of failure because I'm afraid of how true that will make me feel, or how true that comes to the surface for me.
Do you think that's a guy thing too?
I don't know, probably, maybe.
Yeah.
My partner put all his trust into me. We put all our money into this business being successful. I'm running it 24/7. I've got 2 business partners that, at the time I had 2 business partners. A lot was riding on my shoulders. I went in as the manager to help it get to where it needed to be. And then the idea was that I would put somebody in it and then I would help them and I would go back to doing what I was doing.
Which was?
I was actually, I was running, I was helping a 24/7 gym franchise model. I was their franchise support manager. So I looked after Queensland, Victoria and South Australia. I had about just over 40, I can't remember now, about 40 franchisees that I looked after.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe
That's a lot,
or
isn't
30,
it?
30 or 40. Yeah.
It was like herding cows, herding kids, I should say.
Do you know what? I look back at my time now and I loved it. I loved getting in there with them and helping them. It was a beautiful community. But they were all individual, like franchise owner operators. They were in on their businesses. This was when, 24/7 gym franchises were exploding.
Yeah.
And Plus Fitness jumped on that. And I knew the boys, and so they gave me a shot, and I loved it. It was great. I helped them with their, how to be successful, helped them with their marketing, helped them with their operations. It was great.
So this has pretty much been your life.
It has been.
When did you first get into the fitness industry?
I was 18. I'm now 39.
39.
Yeah, I'm pushing nearly 40.
Wow. You don't look it, mate. You look
Thank
fantastic.
you. Thank you. When I tell people that I'm like, we're at the gym, things happen, and I'm like, I know. And I know that they're 40, and I'll relate with them. I'm like, I know. And they're like, what would you know? And I'm
Well,
like, I'm 40.
You're just a spring chicken. Well, you project that youth as well too, that enthusiasm, and people just think that you're younger than what you are because you've got more energy than what they have.
Well, do you know what? That's actually, I never used to have energy. I used to struggle.
Really?
I used to struggle. I have.
You got a medical problem, a medical issue?
I think so.
Yeah?
I had sleep apnea. I do have sleep apnea. And
I saw that in the notes that you sent
Oh,
through,
well,
and we were talking about sleep.
yeah, well, I wanted to. Well, so sleep apnea has been a major part of my life, like on everything.
We're talking about right from the early, like from your
early
teenage-
20, yeah,
early 20s, yeah.
because people would laugh at it. They would film me. They would film me, basically dying or choking in my sleep. They thought it was a funny film, and so I would get these videos from my mates after a big night on the booze or whatever in my 20s, and I didn't know what it was.
People are assholes, aren't
They are, especially your friends, right?
They're the worst.
And I would literally stop breathing. I would stop breathing, and
Well,
then
so yeah, from our listeners' point of view, sleep apnea is about you stopping breathing while you're asleep. Correct.
you literally die in your sleep.
Wow.
Your body is trying to kill you.
But do you wake up when it happens or not?
Yes.
You do.
So this is what happens. Your body will stop breathing for about 10 to 15 seconds.
Yep.
Your body will naturally do something to jolt you, to wake you up, whether it's restless legs or whether you toss and turn. If you toss and turn all night, chances are you've got sleep apnea.
And you've had a shit night's sleep.
You've had a shit night's sleep. You wake up with a headache. You wake up tired. And if you get to about 2 p.m. in the afternoon and you need to have a nap, chances are you've got sleep apnea.
So when did you find out that you had it? How old were you?
Well, I was pretty young. So I was about, I would say about 20. And this is when I started having the signs. People were sending them to me. Like of me sleeping, snoring. Yep. Snoring was a big thing. My relationship was failing because of my sleeping.
Wow. I was going to say it sounds probably like a lot of men have got the same problem, but it's nothing to laugh at.
Well, because it would if you drink excessively, it would bring that to the surface.
It would exacerbate it.
Yeah,
yep.
big time.
So you're a big drinker when you're younger?
When I was younger, yeah. I used to drink big time, and
well, didn't we all?
Thought I was invincible.
Yeah, we all did. We all did.
Mate, I would be able to go out partying from Friday night, and then by Monday morning, I would be second guessing life choices, going to my friends. I need to start work at 9 o'clock. Like I would be a mess. And
wow.
I don't know how I look back now and that gives me anxiety thinking about it.
Well,
But
we all did stupid shit, didn't we, when we were younger? That's how you learn. If you're not learning from your mistakes, well, then you need to take a serious look at yourself. So back to this. So you wear a sleeping device now, and that
I do. I wear a
Yeah.
little Darth Vader.
cool. Where's your partner think of it?
Well, actually, do you know what's quieter than snoring?
Yeah,
Yeah, so the it's a CPAP. They call it CPAP.
yeah, that's the most common one I've heard of.
Yes, it's a constant pressure airway, whatever the other P is. Ash, that's you.
Prosthesis.
Is that what it's called?
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
Ash is looking up some stats on sleep apnea.
And so yeah, so the way what happened was starting this job or starting the business, it brought it to the surface because I would have to start work early in the morning, 4:30, right? I just thought I was old. I thought I couldn't do it. Waking up that early and then trying to work for the whole day, couldn't do it. I'd get to about 2:00 and would
Just crash.
Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, well, I started at 4:30. What time did you start? You know, that would be my
Justification, yeah.
Absolutely. And so by 2:00, I'm having a little nana nap. But then I think, you know, the more we start to learn about sleep is a huge underestimated.
I agree.
It is so underestimated. The amount of times that I sit there with members and I'm like, they'll want to train 2 times a day. They want to eat less because they're trying to achieve something. And I'm like, don't worry about any of that. Just sleep more.
8 hours.
Yeah, focus on your sleep. Focus on your quality of sleep. And that was the problem. The problem was I was going to bed at 8:39, waking up at 4:40. That's 8 hours.
But it was a shitty sleep.
Shitty sleep.
Because of the apnea.
Shitty sleep. And I would get up, I would have a litre of coffee just to get myself going and then work through till about 10, come home, and then I would crash.
Yeah.
I would
You've got all
crash.
these. What you're doing is you're trying to offset, trying to get your balance right, but offsetting it with, as you say, with the coffee because of the shitty sleep, and
Yep.
cause and effect, and it's like it just spirals.
It spiraled.
And you know you can understand how people get themselves in these situations, and when you break it down, the crutch of it, as you say, not a good quality sleep and for not long enough. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'll sleep when I die." Well, yeah, you will,
You will die very shortly.
but you want a good quality of life. And with health and fitness and mental health, especially, that is one of the key factors.
They say that suicide is linked to sleep. That suicidal tendencies is linked to a lack of sleep. They've done studies. Don't quote me on that one, but it is very it is proven that in terms of sleep and the quality of sleep, they've linked it to mental health and also suicidal. They've realised the impact of a lack of sleep and a lack of quality sleep is huge. They're saying these days that in terms of sleep, if you're not getting quality sleep in terms of testosterone, in terms of dementia, Alzheimer's, like all of this is linked to sleep. If you sit there and deprive someone from food, water, they're okay. You deprive someone from sleep, the only thing that would actually beat sleep in deprivation is oxygen.
Yep, I concur.
So why aren't we putting more emphasis in sleep? Do you know what I mean? Like when it comes to training, right? You think about it. Everyone, I want to lose weight. I want to gain muscle. So what do? Train more. Where we don't emphasize any rest. We don't emphasize, what's my sleep doing? How am I resetting the body?
Well, that's definitely about education.
Absolutely.
And that's what your job is to do, is
Yeah.
to make sure that you're bestowing this knowledge on your clients. And it's like, because you can see people training hard. You can see they're dedicated. They want to make a change. But are they doing everything else to support that?
Yeah.
And as you say, sleep, eating, mental health.
Yeah.
just having 5 minutes time to yourself, a day or however often, just to reset and recheck with yourself and to make sure that mentally, because it's all connected.
Yeah.
Everything's connected in your
Yep.
body, and it's. I mean, I'm a big advocate for men's health, for personal health, for everything to do with leading a healthy life.
Yeah.
Because I want to live as long as I can.
Absolutely.
That's the idea. Live until I die. But I want my quality of life to be as good as it possibly can. And you look at these people that are sabotaging that. And I think a lot of it is about education.
Yeah.
You don't know until you know.
Yeah.
And as like you didn't know about your sleep apnea until it got to a point where somebody figured it out for you, whether it was you or somebody else.
I just put it down to old age. I was like, oh, I'm getting old. This is what happens. You get bad sleep. I started to break everything down. So I got rid of alcohol. I was like, right, alcohol has to be the issue. Has to be.
Well, it's going to attribute to it for a start.
Yeah. So I'm like, get rid of it. Get rid of it all. Go sober. And like it did help, but I still was sleeping at 2 p.m. I still didn't have a good sleep. But mentally, I felt better. So I was like, okay, this is good. It was okay. I thought there was going to be like massive fireworks and I was going to see the light, and sobriety was for me. And you saw all these people on TikTok about sobriety and how amazing their life is. And it was good, but it wasn't until I actually went and got a sleep test done.
Yep. And how old were you when you did that? We figured it out.
Okay, so this is only recent. So
Oh, really?
I only got done this year.
Oh, really?
So I went in before COVID, 2019, got the referral.
What was the catalyst?
I just couldn't wake up in the morning. I couldn't get up. I felt every time I would wake up to go to work at 5 o'clock, I felt depressed. I kept on having these like, what am I doing with my life? And I think because I came from another job where it was 9 to 5, roughly about. In my head, I'm like, what am I doing this for? This was young. This was 20-year-old Stu. 20-year-old Stu would get up at 5 and train all clients and teach 4 classes back to back of, all Les Mills, then go back and train clients again. Like that was my old life. How am I back here again? And so you just start unraveling, in your brain at 5 a.m. This is all happening at 5 a.m. mind you, like by myself until I opened the studio.
Well, sometimes that's when you have those revelations.
Yeah.
But a lot of time people don't have that pause or that break to have that self-reflection to figure out that something's wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, something's wrong.
Something was wrong.
Something's wrong. And it's just sometimes, as I said, there's a catalyst or somebody says something or something happens and at that point something changes. And hopefully it's a change for the good. You put something in action like you've done to get that test.
So I went and got that test, but COVID hit and they all got shut down. So I couldn't get this sleep test. So I spent 2 years waiting for.
Really?
It took that long. They weren't taking phone calls and the doctor's referral, and then I forgot about it. I then went back into, because I then, coming out of COVID, in my head I'm like, I don't have time for this. I've just got to go. Like I've got to hit the ground and run and bring this gym back up. So it was 2 years in the making.
Did you have any downtime over that period?
No, not really.
No?
No. I probably worked harder than what I ever did through that lockdown because I had to pivot. I had to pivot on things I'd never done before. I never did Zoom. I never did online podcast. How do I run classes online? How do I engage with members that aren't in front of me?
And F45 provided all those essential tools?
Do you know what? Actually, that is probably one of the best things that ever, as a franchise, they sat us down straight away within minutes of a lockdown. There was a Zoom invite.
That's amazing.
And it was like, we have pushed through an app that has all of our workouts online. All of the workouts are online, and this is what we're going to do. And they just literally pumped all of this technology to us to help members train at home.
It's actually quite funny because a lot of businesses, as you say, everybody had to pivot, but there was a lot of businesses that had these technologies in development or in the works prior to COVID, and COVID just fast-tracked them.
Fast-tracked everything.
Yeah, we had the guys from Runners in here, and their running program was being developed in an app, and of course when everything turned to shit, they just turned it all on, and then there you go. You've got this stream of technology which is allowing their clients to continue on with their running journey.
Yeah.
So COVID, for all of its shittiness and downside, there were some upsides to it.
I think. Look, you've got to look at. I sit here as a small business owner of a gym franchise and go, I can see the positives of COVID in terms of flexibility, in terms of freedom. More technology had been developed throughout that period of time to help people connect without them being face to face, and fast track us in terms of technology than what we probably would have had. If COVID didn't happen, people would still be going to the office 9 to 5, Monday to Friday.
Yeah, well, that's about the one thing that certain people have got out of that is that they don't have to be back at the office now.
No, and now I can move. I can live wherever I actually really want to live.
Yep.
So yeah, that's yeah. In terms of going back to sleep, I went and got the test.
Yes, finally.
I finally got the test.
And this is only just recently, isn't it?
Just recently.
Yeah.
And even driving there, so my appointment was 3 o'clock with the doctor. 3 o'clock I had my appointment with the sleep doctor. And driving there, I felt tired. It was 3 p.m. I was driving there. I was like, well, by the time I finish this, I'm going to go to bed. I got there and she started to explain everything. I was having 28 episodes an hour.
Oh, so if we back it up, you're going to the consultation after the test. So
After the test. I've done the test.
Test is a sleep test.
The sleep test. I don't know how anyone sleeps with this test on, but basically you sit there with this monitor at your heart, and there's about, I'm going to say, 15 to 20 electro points.
Yep.
So there's about 8 on the face. Then there's on the chest, all the way down to your leg. So I'm quite a hairy guy, and so I had to shave my leg, but I've only shaved like that one spot. I was a lazy shaver. I shaved that one spot. So going back to the gym the next day was a very interesting conversation to everyone. They're like, "What have you done?" So yeah, strapped myself on with all of this, stuff, and very R2D2 style, and tried to sleep for the night. Had no idea how I was going to do it. I sat there I don't know, it was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever experienced, but fell asleep. They got results, sent it back to them, and within a week I was back there with results.
And you said there was 28.
They said I had 28 episodes an hour, ranging from 10 to 17 seconds. I was holding my breath.
Is that high? Is that bad?
High. She was like,
So you're pretty good at it.
I'm great at it. Get me. Do you want to see me sleep out? This is how it is.
Everybody's got to be good at something, don't they?
Exactly. I can't wait to show my my party trick. They said your body is starving itself from oxygen, and this is the reason why you feel. And she just started to rattle all of these things off about me.
Yeah.
Like I was gaining weight, and I was restricting. Like I was in a panic state because being part of an F45 and being part of what you do was the total opposite of what was happening to me.
Yeah.
I was gaining weight and it was all around my stomach. So I knew that there was something happening because your stomach weight, like emotionally stomach weight, as a few things, right? So if I see you and you have got weight and you're holding it in the stomach, it's sugar related. So if you're a guy, I know I'm probably...
So is this male and female?
Well, I'm about to say, I'm about to say something.
Right.
If you're a male and I see you like that, I'm instantly going to ask you if you're a beer drinker.
Makes perfect sense.
Makes perfect sense. 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes. and they're shocked that I know that.
But,
And if it's a woman,
but that's
if-
a 90. You're gonna
I
hit
know.
that 99%.
I'm
of the
going to
time.
hit it pretty hard.
A guy that doesn't drink beer. I mean,
Well,
is there such a thing?
so look, that's or a wine. I'll ask if you're a big wine drinker.
So we're saying guys carrying their weight on the front of them. That's
Just
alcohol.
anyone that's holding from the front is a sugar related. It's a diabetic. It's a sign of diabetes in my mind, or it's a sign of sugar related incidents.
Okay.
Let's just put it like that.
What about guys? Because I carry my weight around my hips.
Right. So that's
Just not doing enough. I mean, I love beer. I mean, put it this way, if I didn't drink beer, I'd be probably shredded. But
yeah. You'll find around the hips is probably fluid
yeah,
and inflammation. So
inflammation's a big thing. I think
inflammation's a big thing.
we're gonna cover that later on down the track.
Are we?
Because
Okay.
I hope you're an expert on it. But it's interesting to know, as you say, about the way guys and girls carry weight.
Yeah.
And
There was still. I'm not. Look, I'm by all means. I don't know. You know, I'm not a researcher. I don't do this
That's
for a
right.
living. But I'll give you my opinion on things.
That's what we
around the hip is a thyroid or a slowing down of like metabolism. I would say around hips.
so that's generally going to happen with guys that when they get into the 50s, their testosterone levels.
Testosterone will start to drop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a big one, isn't it, testo?
Yeah, but they said it's actually moved. So testosterone is again also linked to sleep. So when I went and had my test done, even though I didn't have, they obviously didn't see it in my like sleep results.
Yeah.
But when I went to the doctors,
Did your blood work?
my blood work came back as extremely low, lower than someone of my age. Now I asked that. I said, well, you know, what is the level? And I didn't get. All I just got shocked with was basically I had high blood pressure.
Yep. Is
and
that directly related to the sleep apnea?
that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
My blood pressure, I went from 8 milligrams, 16 milligrams, 32 milligrams. I was increasing my medication with blood pressure, and
Oh, so you're on meds
I'm on meds.
still now, or
Well, I need to go back and get tested, but
okay,
it's gone down.
Just on that and your personal health.
Yes.
How often do you go to the doctor and get your blood work done?
I was going every 3 months.
No, you're same as me.
Yeah. I'm really interested
Are
in...
you a hypochondriac?
No.
Like I am?
No, I just... I think it's really important to...
I just want to know how I'm tracking.
Yes, well, especially when I'm starting to see early signs of things that, you know, like I said, in my 20s, I was invincible.
We all were.
So what's happening now?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I want to know.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of the reason why with my sleep, I was reading articles about sleep apnea. I was reading about how, you know, it was cutting life short for people.
Well, you could probably equate it to smoking or excessive drinking. It's going to affect your organs in your body, and it's going to be detrimental over the course of time.
So with the sleep apnea, the quality of sleep, what was happening for me was I was constantly living in fight or flight.
Yep.
I was running on adrenaline
Yep.
to operate. And so what was happening was I was eating for energy. And I know that's what we do. We eat for energy. That's exactly what happens. But I was eating because I was so tired. I was so exhausted. So I was eating to find sources of energy, where what you should be doing is sleeping so that your body generates energy so that it will carry you through the day.
And so holding that weight is obviously a byproduct of that eating. So basically your body's holding on to that fat as storage because it knows it's going to burn it in that fight or flight. So
I'm pumping out cortisone because I'm literally like in adrenaline. And so what was happening, I was just putting on weight. I mean, you like in my head, I'm like, this is what happens in your 40s, you know. This is where I'm slowly starting to move into an age where I'm not going to fit into the same jeans as in my 20s. But I just thought this can't happen so quickly.
Well, that's why I'm an advocate for getting your bloods and going to see your doctor on a regular basis, because a lot of people, a lot of men are accepting that what's happening to their body or what happens in their life is part of aging.
Yeah. I was one of them.
Exactly. You're a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people are just accepting this and they're not getting to the root of the problem. Now, and of course, that affects everything else in their life. It affects their family, their relationships, their work scenarios, their friends, just anything to do with them as a person, and they're blaming it on old age. You know?
I was one of them. Yeah. But I knew that the sleep was a big thing, and I think the more I was reading, I was starting to go, I think I'm on something here. Like being sober, eating really well. I was eating really, I was eating good. I'm like, this shouldn't be happening.
And you were still putting on weight.
I was still putting on weight.
Man, that must be frustrating.
And I was getting like, it was just, and I was tired. So I'm like, I don't know what else I'm doing. I'm exercising. I'm eating well. I'm not drinking. I'm getting 8 hours sleep. What's going on? And, I finally got the test and got it. She said, this is what's happening to you. You're literally dying. You're starving yourself of oxygen. I just burst into tears.
I bet you did.
I burst into tears because I was like, you have finally given me an answer. Because it's not like, again, fear of failing, right? To be an F45 owner, to be a coach, as much as everyone can sit here and say, it's not about how you look. It is. People judge you the moment they see you, right? You sit here and I say to you, I'm a gym owner. You're instantly going to look at how I look. That's just what we do. Imagine being on the floor 24/7, seeing new people coming in. They don't know how I am. They don't know that I'm a nice person. They don't know that I've got a good personality. All they see is a gym owner that may be looking a bit tired, and stress and everything that goes around having, a small business and having the second one that's coming through, like FS8. FS8 really took it out of me in terms of like stress. And I think that was probably part of why it pushed me to do the test, because I really wanted to know what was happening. But sitting there at the meeting with this woman, this doctor telling me basically this is exactly why you are putting on weight, falling asleep at 2 p.m. All of these things, this is what's happening. You need to take this machine home now.
Yep.
And so I sat there with this machine, and so she said, because of how strong your sleep apnea is, how you literally are dying 28 times in an hour, I believe you need to have, it was like this, like a Darth Vader mask. That's exactly how it was, a Darth Vader mask, right?
Hey, Ash, can you bring up a CPAP mask, please? I want our listeners and our viewers to have a look.
Now, as I've become, I'm a mad advocate for a CPAP. Anyone that wants to talk to me about CPAP, I'm here for you.
Great.
Because I'm an advocate for it. I love it. Look, I'm 40 now, and that's exactly what I wear now, but I didn't used to.
That's the new version.
That's the new nasal version. So
it just goes straight up your nose.
That one goes over the nose, so it actually just sits over the nose. Okay. It looks like an elephant.
Is it comfortable to wear?
That one is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So bring us, go image and see if we've got some images of the
other
oldest,
masks.
the oldest stock. Because it's the,
oldest. It's not that they're old, it's just that there's different styles. So because I was a snorer, they said, we need one to cover your nose, and there they are.
Just go to images, Ash. There you go.
And then,
it looks like
actually, see that guy?
Like something out of a sex shop.
Where the gimp mask. Look at that. Hello, Christmas. Look at that.
That's for sleep talkers.
So, that's pretty excessive. The one that they showed me just went over the chin. But see, Ash, down to the left, those guys, that's what I was wearing at the start. And it covered the mouth as well.
Oh, so So that's no. That's just nose.
That's just
go,
nose.
Go back and see if there's one for the mouth as well. Just scroll on down.
Is that guy there down there wearing one on his mouth?
There you go. That guy
Yeah.
fourth in down. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yep. So that's. Oh. You're right.
See that one there? Go to the right by 4. That one.
That one.
That's
There you
me.
go.
That is me. So my first night sleeping, that's exactly what I wore. The
That-
exact same one.
That does look comfortable.
Do you know what? Sadly, I had this comfort in it.
Well,
I was comforted that I was being smothered by a mask, pumping air into my face,
keeping you alive.
keeping me alive. So what sleep apnea is that there's muscles around your throat, and as you fall asleep, they will as well fall asleep and collapse your airway.
Yep.
This is a genetic thing. Sometimes you're born with it, they said. It can be caused by overweight. So that was pretty much what was happening to me. That's what I said. I said, this is a vicious cycle. As I'm putting on weight, it is now closing. Like, how am I ever going to... I'm just funneling down. Anyway, so they said that's what happens. So you've got a couple of options. You can either get surgery to bring your jaw forward. I said, well, I'll have an underbite. Great. Or they put this sleep app machine on there. And what it actually does is it actually forces air into your nose or into your airway. And it will open the throat. I was like, that sounds very strange to me. How can you force air into it? But when you put it on, you actually feel this constant pressure. As soon as you open your mouth, the air just goes straight in.
It's not like somebody's got an air gun and they're blowing it into the back of your neck. It's just the mass of air is being forced.
So as soon as you open your mouth, you actually feel natural in taking a breath.
Do you sleep? You have to sleep on your back?
I was sleeping on my stomach.
Yeah.
But I think that was because of the sleep apnea. Because if I slept on my stomach, I felt that I could actually breathe.
It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah, because it was opening my airway. Where on my back it was closing it.
Yeah.
So on my back, definitely I would be snoring. So yeah, with this machine, it saved my life. By day 1, I woke up instantly with energy.
Mate, I'm so happy for you that you found the solution
In
to
a
a
Darth
problem
Vader mask.
that you didn't really think you had or knew that you had. So
I lost 10 kilos in 2 months.
good on you.
And
Did you have to work really hard for it? Or
No.
Just fell off?
It fell off. I did not change anything in regards to my diet. I naturally probably trained a little bit more and I was probably moving a little bit more. And I think that was because I had more energy.
Yeah.
So
Cause and effect, eh?
cause and effect. But I was like, I actually did that on purpose because I didn't want to change anything other than bring in something that was going to help my sleep.
Well, it makes sense, doesn't it? Makes sense. What is FS8? FS8 St Kilda is wellness with some hell yeah! Pilates, tone and yoga movements with all of the oomph and without the fluff. We've taken the best fitness and flexibility boosting elements and created a unique full body training experience. Its science-backed classes will get you working muscles you didn't even know you had, pushing the limits of what you thought was possible. So check them out, FS8 St Kilda on Instagram. Talk to me about FS8. What the hell is FS8?
What is FS8? That is literally the question I get asked the most. What is FS8? FS8 is it is a blend of your Reformer Pilates space. So if you were to think of Reformer beds, so that's a form of Pilates that they utilize a bed for resistance.
I think Ash, can you want to pull up a photo of one of those for us, please? Just so we can show our viewers. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you short.
No, go for it.
Yeah.
So Reformer Pilates is I think it became really popular. I'm probably gonna say this wrong, and everyone that's listening will
You're gonna be
like,
screaming
yeah,
at you.
that's not the reason. Became really popular with Kim Kardashian or the Kardashians doing reformer beds. They love reformer Pilates. So I know I've noticed that a lot of people are wanting. I think also too, it's something different. People enjoy using the reformer beds. That's it.
There you go. We're looking at one on screen at the moment, and it looks like something out of a medieval sex dungeon.
You put your legs up in the straps and
Have we got some photos of people on there, Ash, or maybe a video or something, just to see the function? Oh, here we go.
there we go.
We've got yeah.
There we go.
There we go. No,
Yeah,
So-
that's all. That's pretty much what is FS8. That is FS8 right there.
So we've got a combination of
Yeah, so-
the reformer beds and then off the beds onto mats doing
yeah,
resistant work.
that's correct. So F45, and if you think of F45 and then you put it into the space of Pilates, that's what you come up with.
Can we back it up a bit, just a little bit,
Yeah.
if you don't mind?
Go for it.
Excuse my ignorance. I don't think we've really explained the F45 concept. Do you think we've explained it enough about exactly what happens in a class? Do you think we went? I can't remember. Did we go down that road?
I'm not sure. No, I think you just asked me what do I. That's an F. That's an F45. That's mine. So if you have a look at this is me. I actually make those videos, so I'm very proud of myself. But if you have a look, I'm very bossy with what I do. That's me behind the camera saying, "Smile at the camera."
You're going to make your content look good, don't you?
Yes.
You don't want all your clients grimacing. You don't need grimacing.
So yeah, that's basically what you've got there. Look, F45 is functional, and we utilize things like sandbags, dumbbells, kettlebells to provide a 45-minute class in a circuit-based style.
And you've got the screens, which
The screens are there for a reference.
okay. So
It's interesting, actually. Let's talk about those screens. Yeah, so we've got the screens as reference, but the reason you want to look at those screens as the modern day. Do you remember back in the day when you would go to an outdoor group X class or a circuit class, and the trainer would just write an exercise on a white piece of paper and put it on the floor and say that's it, or it was laminated? Maybe
Yep.
It's like that. But instead of it being laminated, there's someone showing you the exercise. So if you don't know what, a kettlebell swing is, don't worry about it. We're not going to tell you what a kettlebell swing is. We'll just show you the kettlebell swing.
and correct technique.
And we'll give you correct technique from us walking around. So we've incorporated that into FS8, but utilizing completely different styles of training. So FS8 is functional. They use the word style, and then it's 8 elements. There's 8 elements of core Pilates. So we utilize all 8 elements.
Does that go back to the origin of Pilates?
That's correct.
So this is prior to clinical Pilates.
This is. So I don't know actually. The FS8 branding, or the FS8 itself, literally stands for functional, and then it says style remixing Pilates, tone and yoga. And it's 8 representation of the 8 key elements that are from the core.
Right.
So I don't know if that goes back. I don't know whether that goes back to clinical. And the reason why I say that is because this is actually not really my space. So I invested into FS8 because I believe in it. But in terms of Pilates, this is new for me. So I'm learning with a really strong team the Pilates space.
How fresh is it for you? When did you take on the FS? Your first? Have you got one FS8?
Just one, yeah.
When did you take that on?
Last year, July.
Wow, so it is fresh.
Fresh.
Yep.
And let me tell you, I feel so out of. Okay, this is my head coach. Now, imagine me trying to do that. I do not have the flexibility whatsoever, but that's a reformer bed, and that's what you can do with a reformer bed.
That is flexible.
Yes.
Can you do that, Ash?
Ash can.
I always try.
Well, as long as you try, love, that's the main thing.
That's my
amazing.
That's my head coach. She loves to put some inspirational exercises up there for our members.
So your FS8 clients, are they different to your F45 clients?
They
or have
are.
we got a changeover from one using the other?
So the FS8 client is it's 70% female. I would probably even say close to maybe 80% female. And it is a younger demographic.
Is it marketed that way, or is it just the way it is?
I don't think it's marketed that way. I think it does go down that road a little bit, purely because the way that FS8 is designed, the class is a little bit more meatier. So they call it workout-based classes. So your workout-based or the workout-driven, they're more designed to be, a bit of a sweat than your traditional slow flow clinical Pilates might be.
A little bit more high intensity.
It's more high intense, and that's
higher rep.
It's more go.
Okay.
The music pumps. So in that space, naturally, if you don't like that, then you're not going to continue.
No, I can see why it appeals to the youth and the females.
When the bass is pumping, then, they might come for one or two, but then, that's it. So the demographic will be a little bit on the younger side, but in saying that, it's not, we've got members that are in their late 50s, close to 60, but they love the music. They love the environment. They love the vibe. And that's what F45 is, the same as FS8 in the terms of it doesn't matter what age you are inclusive in that space.
FS8 is owned by F45?
Same concept. It's the same owners.
Yep.
But they're branching out into this space. I think that FS8 will be where F45 was 10 years ago. I would even say as close as maybe 6 years ago.
So you're one of the first franchisees.
We are, yeah.
July last year, so it is really fresh.
Really fresh, yeah.
How's it tracking?
It's needing an identity, and I think that's where it will take a bit of time, because in that space, and this is something that I didn't realize, right? It's not Pilates, but it's also not yoga, and it's not strength, and it's not this. Well, what are you then? Well, we're everything. And so it's never been done before, so it's taking its time to be exposed to that demographic. Of late, it has got a lot of traction, and we are slowly building our database, which is great. But at the start, people come in and they're expecting Pilates, they're expecting reformer, they're not expecting weights. So this is something that is new into this space, and I think it just takes a bit of time for people. And no one likes anything new. Like if it's different to what they're used to, then it's going to take time for people to adapt.
Exactly.
There's early adopters. There's people that have jumped straight in, and I find a lot of people from F45 will come into this space and go, I absolutely love this, because it takes out all the jump, takes out anything to do with cardio, and it focuses more on endurance strength. They have adopted it really well because they understand the concept of F45. They've got the TVs there. They understand pods. They understand the style that we go with in terms of booking systems, in terms of how we start the class. Everything is very similar. And like I said, people like familiarization. They want to know that there's something familiar to them. So we have noticed that people that stopped F45 for whatever reason have adopted FS8.
Well, we've got one convert over here, haven't we, Ash?
We do.
Yeah. How are you enjoying FS8?
I absolutely love it. I'm stronger, and I love the fact that these sets don't have a lot of breaks in between, so you're constantly working your muscles.
There you go.
That's the endurance part. So it's minute on minute on minute. Sometimes there could be 90 seconds on the one exercise before you move straight into the next. So in terms of endurance strength, it's different to F45. F45 will go 30, 45 seconds, then have 30-second break. There's no breaks in FS8.
Really?
There's no breaks. You will go from one exercise straight into the next, straight into the next, straight into the next.
So it's a superset followed by a superset.
Absolutely.
Followed by a superset.
I mean, they all vary to a degree in terms of like exercises per day, but essentially you will be on that or you'll be in that space for a decent amount of time.
So what's the most underestimated measurement in training?
I actually think the underestimated measurement in training is sleep, in recovery. No one talks about recovery.
No.
Do you remember? Did you ever have a whoop? Whoop whoop.
No. What is it like?
Okay,
a football.
Yeah. So whoops came out. I put my hand up. I actually bought one. But they went gangbusters to the point where it was like I think a year and a half wait for it to come.
Explain what a whoop is.
It's like a device that tracks your workout, right? Same style as all the others, but this one tracks your recovery. So it will tell you when it's
You're
basically
not doing anything.
Well, it tells you basically your time to start training again because your body has recovered fully.
So it's estimating what it thinks. It's not an exact science, though,
No,
is it?
it's a gimmick probably, and that's why I don't wear it anymore. But look, all to Whoop, yes, they work really well, but it was good to see someone finally coming into the market going, we need to be addressing recovery.
Well, in your mind, what are the effects of overtraining? What do you see? And do you see it on a regular basis?
I do.
Tell me what you see.
I see depletion. I see a decrease in muscle.
Decrease.
A decrease in muscle. You overtrain, you can say goodbye to your muscle.
That's probably what's happening.
It's really hard to. Do you know? It's really hard. That space is really hard. 9 times out of 10, people can control their exercise. Right? You want to say to yourself, I've said this before. If you want to get fitter, if you want to get stronger, if you want to lose weight, you want to do all of these things. What is the first thing that you will say? 9 times, sometimes it'll be when you've had a few drinks, and on a Saturday night. That's it. After this weekend, I'm going to go to the gym 10 times this week. Right? That's
famous last word.
Exactly. That's what we say. We never say, I'm going to sleep 8 hours every night. No one says that.
No.
No one. But what they do say is, I want to train 10 times. We use these machines called eVolt. eVolt, it's like an in-body scanner. You can pull that up on the screen if you want to. And it will give you a detailed report of how much. It's like a DEXA scan. So
Please explain.
Yes, a DEXA scan is it's a scan that you can have that will give you a reading of fat, muscle, mineral, hydration, your age. How does it do this?
How accurate are they? I mean, how do they work?
They work through electrodes. So you put in your height, you put in your age, and through electrical currents, your electrical currents will take a lot longer or change speed based on through muscle, through fat, through water. So
it is scientifically. Yeah.
Yeah. So the DEXA is I would say the number one. So if you want to do a DEXA scan, I think you can only do one per year because of the radiation.
Okay, so it's not just electrical current; there's radiation as well.
Oh yeah, the DEXA one. I mean, don't have DEXA come for me about it, but basically I'm sure there is a limitation for how many scans you can have
So
with
it's
the DEXA.
worse than an X-ray then, because you can have 3 or 4 X-rays a year quite safely, can't you?
Yeah, I'm not sure. This is what I got told, that with the DEXA, you need to limit the amount of times you do it because of radiation.
Yep.
But these are safe.
Right.
So for them to be safe, there is obviously going to be a room of error, right? But over the course of, if you keep everything as streamlined as possible, so you scan every, Monday morning, every, 6 weeks, you do the exact same thing, don't drink any coffee, water, no food. Like if you try to keep everything as the same as possible over the course of how many scans you have with the eVolts, you should have a general idea of where you're at.
Okay.
But if you keep scanning on the same scanner, then, if you were 100 kilos and now you're 110, then that's a definite 10 kilo loss. Put it that way. So it's like any other scan or any other scale. You don't jump on your mum's scales and then jump on Chemist Warehouse scales and
Do they have
expect this.
scales?
No, but I'm just saying different.
Say, next time at the Chemist
Everyone's
Warehouse.
racing down to Chemist Warehouse to jump on their scales. I heard it here.
We're not sponsored by Chemist Warehouse, but if you want to jump on board, we'll be quite happy to have you.
So I always just say, look, if you keep scanning on the same one, you'll get the results. So those scans will provide me information about how much muscle you've built, how much fat you've lost, your bio age, how much hydration's in your system, and your visceral fat. Right? Everyone's all about visceral fat at the moment. That's fat around the organs. It's the fat that is quite aggressive. It's cancerous. People want that gone. So these scans will provide that to you.
Do they call that brown fat?
Oh,
No?
I don't know about brown fat.
Ash, can you Google brown fat? It came up the other day, something about brown fat. I was doing some research into ice baths.
Oh, yes.
I've got a problem in my old age of recovery at the moment.
Okay.
And I'm struggling with it.
Have you got sleep apnea?
Well, I hope not. But some of the symptoms
Sleep?
you were talking about it.
Do you have restless sleeps?
Look, I do have restless sleep, but
Yeah.
I do sleep for 8 hours. So,
Okay.
But as far as the quality of that sleep, maybe I'll have to get it on a scale and figure it out. But
Yeah.
the one thing that I do and I know is very important is sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky to have that as part of my regime.
Yeah.
But, yeah. As I said, we were talking about some brown fat and we got, so brown fat breaks down blood sugar, glucose, and fat molecules to create heat to help maintain body temperature. Cold temperatures activate brown fat, so that's the benefits of the ice bath.
Yep.
Obviously, which leads to various metabolic changes in the body. Most of our fat, however, is white fat, which stores extra energy. Too much white fat builds up in obesity.
So white fat is what we're talking about.
Yep.
Brown fat's obviously. That's interesting. I've actually never really. You've just taught me something.
That's what we're all about here, mate. That's what we're all about.
So back to my members.
Yes.
Challenge comes around.
How often do you do those?
We do four a year, and of the seasons, basically follow the seasons. Challenge comes around.
Sense.
First thing they want to do, straight out of the gate, they're training double the amount of time.
Do you tell them not to do that?
Yes.
Did they listen to you?
No. Every time. I even try to encourage even a day off. I'm like, don't even train that day. Just go home.
Whoa. So you're saying that
They
these
train-
guys
well,
are training 7 days a week?
7 days a
maybe
week.
2 times a day.
Yes.
I mean, that just sounds absurd.
Yes.
Does it? Not.
And for my members out there listening, I love you. I love you all.
you made sure you looked in the camera too.
Did you like that?
Yeah. I love it. And you held the cup up at the same time. It's beautiful. You could be on my marketing team.
And so doing, obviously here I am. There's so much that comes with it. Training it's not just about weight loss. It's not just about building muscle. It's not about getting fit. There's a whole other element to it of mental health that comes by training 2 times a day, by training every day. That is something that a member can control.
Yep, I agree.
And so they then have succeeded by doing that because that's what they set out for themselves. I haven't encouraged that. I don't want that. But I can sit back and see what is happening. The stress of whatever they want to achieve, they need to go through a process. They need to go through a process of understanding that it's not always going to be about exercise. But you can't get them there. It's like an adolescent with a parent. Don't tell your child, don't go to that party and don't do those things. They're going to do it anyway. And then come back to you and say, I should have listened to you. You know, such and such said that.
The one thing that you'd hope they'd take away is that they'd learn from their mistakes.
Exactly.
Now, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you'd want to hope that, okay, give them a little bit of rope to hang themselves. Yeah, and then by the time the next challenge comes around in the next season, they've maybe learnt a bit.
Yeah.
And sometimes, as you say, people need to learn the hard way.
They do.
They have to learn themselves. I'm a prime example of that. I will go out at like a bull at a fucking gate, and I will learn the hard way sometimes. And that's how I learn. That's how I process things.
Yeah.
Now, as I get older, I make sure that I'm not starting off on the wrong foot. And you'd think these days we've got enough information available to ourselves to make good decisions. But as you say, some people just have to learn the hard way, and that's how they learn and how they understand.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong. And this is the thing. I've never sat here and gone, there's nothing good or bad about training that amount of times. Okay? If you look at it in different ways. Someone training 2 times a day, it could be just because that is their hobby. That's what they want to do. That's their socialization. That's how they meet people. That keeps them positive. If they weren't coming to the gym, then maybe they might decide to choose a more antisocial behavior.
Could be more time away from the wife and kids.
It could be. There's so many other things that we don't look at because we're so focused on weight loss, strength. We don't look at the mental thing of allowing someone to come to the gym. And if it's twice a day, then what are you doing that for?
Well, as we've said, what you'd hope people would do would be make the gym their third place.
Yes, that's correct.
The rule is home's 1, works 2, and somewhere like the gym's number 3.
That's correct.
It should be number 3.
Yeah. So you've got to take that in consideration. Where it falls short is when the goal is I want to lose weight or I want to gain muscle. So I'm going to come every day and I'm going to train 2 times a day on these days. We then get a scanner, and after the 6 weeks, their fitness level drops, their muscle drops, their fat increases.
Whoa, hold on a tick. How's this possible?
I wanted to I've left my laptop at the at work, and I wanted to show you live data of
How does this happen?
because you are overtraining. Your body is there's a lot of factors as to why that could happen. It could happen because you're undereating, overtraining, and not recovering, right? There's your 3. Bang, you hit that triple threat, you're gone.
Makes perfect sense.
Makes
doesn't it?
perfect sense.
Yeah.
But in a sense of a F45 member or any member, anyone wanting to lose weight, you would think eating less, training more, well, that's the perfect equation.
Calories in, calories out.
That's correct. And if I'm losing weight and it's working really well, well, I just need to double that and I'll get double the results.
Theoretically.
Right. But that's what calories in, calories out is.
Well, technically,
Yeah,
on that same scale,
right,
on that
right.
scale, exactly.
But what are we missing?
You tell me.
The recovery.
Right.
And this is where this is the measurement that we've stopped and have it's underrated.
Okay, give me the perfect ratio. Give me the perfect ratio.
I don't know if there is there.
Well, give me.
Okay, I will.
Give me an
Okay.
outline.
Okay, I'll give you one.
Okay,
The
I'm 50 years old. I want to drop a bit of weight. I want to put on a little bit of size. You give me my work to rest ratio. As you look at me right now.
Well, I would look at you right now and say, first of all, you need 8 hours sleep. Doesn't matter. Bang, bang.
I do it.
Do that, right?
Yep.
What do you want to do? You want to
I want to lose a bit of body
lose
fat.
a bit of body fat. Okay.
Put on,
well, I would
put on a little bit of size.
I'd put you on the scanner, and then from that scanner, it will give me your metabolic rate. So your basal metabolic rate, or your TEE. So your TEE is your total energy expenditure. Let's say, for argument's sake, it comes up with 2,300.
Okay, so I'm a 50-year-old man. Is that normal? Is
Oh,
that about
yeah,
right?
yeah, I
About right?
reckon. Oh, well, you're fit enough. I'd say about 2,000, 2,300, 2,500 calories.
I'll take that.
Let's do it.
I'll take it.
So from that, I would say, why don't you just bring that in 400 cals?
Whoa, stop. Explain.
So if we were to reduce your calories by only 400.
Okay, so the first figure you gave me,
2,300.
That's my calories. That's
That's
how
how
many
many-
I should be consuming a day.
That's how much you burn.
How much I burn a day.
Yeah.
At my metabolic rate
Right.
with my size and my age and
Give or take a few. I don't know whether that's. I mean, yeah, there's an equation that you can do, but the scanner will give it to you.
Okay.
But it's going to be roughly around there, right? But I like to provide that to you through a scan so that you can see it, because you're then going to look at that and go, "That's mine." If I put in a calculation, sometimes people go, "Oh, that calculation's wrong. I don't feel that."
Of course, some.
Do you know what I mean?
Always going to be that person in
I
there.
don't feel that. I'm one of the exception. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Tammy. We're all the part of the exception.
Ted, you said Tammy.
Yeah. Love you, all you Tammys out there. So then I'm going to say to you, realistically, let's drop that by 400 calories.
Okay, so you're dropping my figure of 23
By 4.
by 400. So that's
Yeah.
the amount of calories I'm
You're
consuming.
going to consume. So you'll consume about 2,000 calories if you're at 2,400
Okay.
TEE.
For a guy my size, my age,
Yep.
that's about normal.
That's
Yeah.
about normal.
Yeah. So I'm not doing anything up
No.
and above.
No.
I'm just eating
Yes.
sensibly.
Sensibly.
Mm-hmm. I'm not drinking my face off every night.
No.
I'm training how many days a week?
3.
That's enough.
Go for it.
Are we talking high intensity training for 45 minutes plus? Or are we talking 3 30-minute sessions?
I would say that FS8 for you is your number one. You could train 3 to 4 at FS8 and you would lose the weight, or you would gain the muscle that you're looking for.
Okay, you know what we're going to do?
You're going to do it? You're going to
Yeah.
try to test it out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this shit.
Okay.
So I'm going to come down to you.
Yes.
You're going to give me a scan.
Yep.
You're going to tell me where I'm at.
Yep.
You're going to drop my calorie intake down.
Yes.
Or we're going to assess where I'm at.
Yep.
So that means food diary, or does that mean are we really stringent? Are we like weighing everything, or are we just going on data based on what's on the back of a package? Like if I'm doing the pre-made meals, like the muscle meals or whatever, 500 calories is my lunch.
Yep.
500 calories is my dinner. My breakfast is porridge and fruit, which is
Yeah.
probably another 500 calories. Chucking a protein shake, I'm up to about 2,000.
Yeah.
And that's a
That's
lot of
decent.
food.
Yeah.
That's a lot of food, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's not a lot of food. It's the right amount of food.
It's what my body needs.
It's what your body needs.
right.
You're fueling your body for what you're trying to achieve.
So technically, I'm probably going to stick to my same. I don't call it a diet. I call it a menu.
Yes.
Right. I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to do 3 sessions of FS8 a week.
Yep.
For how many weeks?
However you want it to be. So they say in terms of 400 calories a day drop should equate to anywhere around that 900 grams of weight loss, depending on how your recovery is and depending on how your training is.
I guess technically I have to stop drinking, don't I?
Probably liquid calories is the devil.
Yep.
Yeah. But you know what? It's not about the liquid calories. It's about what the alcohol does.
Once it's in your system, yeah.
The inflammation, the fatty liver, the liver doesn't function. Have you ever heard about?
Is that why my back hurts when I wake up?
It could be. That could.
I hope it's not.
The liver will rejuvenate itself every 4 weeks.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
When you think about what we put our fucking bodies through.
We are a drinker. Like, hey, we've all been drinkers. Love the stuff.
I'm a fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Right. I've decided to take another road. That's great. I'm not here to, judge anyone or to sit here and make comments. But alcohol, in terms of the body, right, is a poison.
Oh, it is.
Right. As soon as you put alcohol into your body instantly knows that it's got a poison in there. It will stop doing anything else in your body until that has been expelled. So if you want to go on a big night on the booze and then you want to finish at Coco Kebabs and
is that your local?
It's not
kebab
my
shop?
local, but I know a lot of St Kilda people go to Coco Kebabs and then send me videos of them,
Right, we're not after
smashing
sponsorship for Coco Kebabs, but if you're listening,
Coco Kebabs. We're here for you.
I think we're going places, mate. We're setting this alight.
So, you smash a
Kebab,
large
yep.
chips and a kebab, that will sit in your stomach until all of the alcohol has been removed.
Yep.
There's no digestion. There's nothing. It is just sitting there.
Oh, Jesus, it just makes me...
So not only are you consuming liquid calories, you're also screwing up your system in terms of what it will naturally do.
Yeah.
You could probably have those chips and the kebab if it was within your calorie range without the booze, and for it to be fine.
Well, because it's fuel, isn't it?
It's still fuel.
It's
like
fuel in your body.
It's a flatbread with lettuce. Yes, okay. The meat's probably
Mixed
a
meat.
bit, whatever. But you break all of them down.
Yeah.
If you put that into a deconstructed, let's all be next Michelin star and have a deconstructed kebab. It's lettuce, tomato, flatbread, and some form of meat. Right.
So I love that, some form of meat.
some form of meat. We're here for you. But that's essentially what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But we've always put a kebab in that.
What sort of sauce are we talking?
Oh, I always love a good aioli.
Oh, really? I like a satay. I love a satay, especially if it's a chicken kebab. Yeah.
Really?
Shit, yeah.
Okay, I might have to try that one.
You haven't done that?
No,
Wow.
I've always gone for chili and aioli. Probably regretted that the next day.
I was going
But
to say the chili's going to...
hello Christmas. No, that's not good. But yeah, so we've really diverted from that, haven't we? So your calories, like.
Okay, so we're talking about...
The calories of a alcohol goes far greater than just how many calories are in that liquid.
So I'm gonna stop drinking as well too. All right, so because we're gonna come back and we're gonna see what the results are. Obviously,
do you know what? If you stop drinking after 4 weeks, by week 5 you'll notice a huge difference.
I'm sure
Instantly.
Well, you're going through that process at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I've lost 10 kilos for not doing anything other than sleep, no booze.
It's as easy as that.
It's as easy as that. Because it's not just about the calories, it's about the body restoring. So now I'm sleeping better. My body is restoring, going back to a natural blueprint.
Yep.
Right? Inflammation's going. My body's starting to operate properly. My liver, no fatty liver, it's starting to rejuvenate, starting to do what it's supposed to do. I'm in REM sleep. So I'm getting all of these beautiful, benefits that sleep and no booze will give you. Those two combinations, I think sometimes are overlooked in terms of any kind of weight loss or even muscle gain.
Okay, so we do agree that sometimes these theories aren't sustainable.
Yeah.
Now,
That's true.
I'm not going to give up drinking.
No.
I mean, some people say that their body's a temple.
Yes.
Mine's a Vessel,
Okay.
and it loves tasty beers.
Yeah.
And it loves carbohydrates.
Yeah.
My two favourite things. So after how many weeks are we looking at? If I'm dropping my calories,
How much do you want to
doing
lose?
3. Well, look, see
Do you
that.
just want to just see what it does?
Well, see that. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to set a target. And the thing is, with me, fitness is mostly about aesthetics.
Yeah.
You know, I've been a runner and I've been at my lightest weight, but I look fucking unhealthy. You
Yeah.
look at the photos of me, I'm like those stick men with the big heads. You know the
Yeah.
ones I'm talking. When
Yeah.
people lose too much weight,
Too much weight. Yeah.
they look unhealthy. And
Yeah.
even as recent as my 50th birthday, I dropped weight to look good for my birthday, and then my friends tell me, "Oh, you looked unhealthy." And you look at the photos, and it's true. I'm gaunt in the face, and that's the thing. It's a fine balance between, looking like you're unhealthy and technically being unhealthy, to having a nice, good, healthy glow and a decent weight. So for me, my weight's always been a struggle.
Yeah.
It's always ballooned out when I've let it go, and then I've tried to rein it back in, and there's this big fucking seesaw, just this constant pull and tug. And it's like, as you get into your 50s and you know that your body's working against you, your metabolism's slowing down, your testo's probably a little bit lower than what it should be. So it's about finding and maintaining that balance. And as I said, I don't want to lose weight where I look unhealthy.
Yeah.
I want to be healthy, I want to be fit, I want to be strong.
I think that with alcohol and sleep, those two components there, they work hand in hand in terms of testosterone. More sleep gives you testosterone, less booze gives you more testosterone, right? That's what we lose as we get older. They're the two things that will pretty much come into play. In terms of...
You're talking for a male.
For a male.
Yeah, we're not going to go down the female route. We're not going to touch that.
No, we're going to leave that alone, aren't we?
We don't want to.
I don't want anyone coming for me.
I don't want my fingers burnt, mate. I don't want them burnt. I like them the way they are.
But I would be really interested to just see how I would say that your body would change. I would say after 6 weeks we would see a change in inflammation. So your body being inflamed without those.
You mentioned inflammation. You mentioned it a couple of times. Explain to me and explain to our viewers and our listeners, what is it, and is it good or bad? Obviously, it's bad. Why is it bad?
I don't know the technical term of inflammation, but when you...
Here we go. Well, we've got Ash is on.
Come on, Ash, go.
What is inflammation? When the body encounters an offending agent like viruses, bacteria, or toxic chemicals such as alcohol, or suffers an injury, it activates your immune system. Your immune system sends out the first responders, inflammatory cells, and chitins, substances that stimulate more inflammatory cells. So it's like an effect that builds on itself with the more inflammation that you get.
And it's interesting, those two pictures, I was literally going to say that. You feel it in your knees, hips, ankles, feet.
So we're looking, for those people just listening, we're looking at a diagram where it affects the human body, and we're looking at ankles, knees, hips, elbows, and head.
Mm-hmm. Predominantly for someone who's working out, there is a small group of people that enjoy working out so that they can then enjoy their life, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But what happens with that when you're boozing and working out at the same time? Your knees, your hips, your ankles, you start to feel like your body's breaking down. That's how it feels. You get rid of that inflammation. Your body reduces its fluid, so you start to retain fluid. You start reducing that, your body starts to change.
So we're saying that the retention of fluid is due to inflammation.
Through alcohol.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the extra fluid in your joints. Yeah, so you ultimately puffing your face.
Yeah, your puffiness. Yeah.
So you look at somebody that drinks too much, they've got a red nose and they've got
red
a puffy
nose,
face.
puffy face. Yeah.
It's a
It's
sure
almost
sign.
like their face is being swallowed. Yeah. So you start to change. So instead of it losing weight, does your body go through a transformation? Do you start to lose inflammation and lose fluid retention? That would be a really interesting 6-week journey to watch that.
Okay, I reckon what I should do in preparation for this is maybe do a journal of a week prior with exactly how I'm thinking and feeling.
Yeah.
You know, what I noticed. Do I notice that I've got puffiness? Do I notice that I've got sore knees?
Like
And we'll-
ideally, how
we'll do-
much do you think you drink a day?
I don't drink a lot.
Right. Okay. Because that's the thing. Like, if you're not drinking a lot, if you are drinking on a regular basis, like every night, then I think it will make a dramatic change.
Yep.
But if it's a small amount, then it would be more about the sleep aspect of it that I would probably be focusing on.
Well, I think a journal leading up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can ascertain exactly what we're dealing with, and then see the effects. So you reckon 6 weeks, a 6-week program, we're going to see some dramatic results.
I would say so.
So after 6 weeks, we're going to sit back down here and we're going to assess those results.
Yep.
And see exactly what's happened, why it's happened.
Absolutely.
FS8, you reckon?
I would say FS8 only because I feel like that is, in terms of what you want, that it's strength endurance. You want strength endurance training.
That's exactly what I want.
Exactly what you want.
Yeah.
You want to be able to sit there minute after minute after minute doing, an exercise and have the body put under that style of stress. That's what you want. F45 is great. I love F45. I'm not here to say that it's not, but I enjoy and I get enjoyment watching the FS8 space because it's a new space and the members are new. And so having them with all of their progress and watching them develop over the period of time, I have started to become excited for anyone that wants to come into some form of exercise program. I'm like, FS8, because I just feel like it's for everybody. Doesn't
It
matter.
sounds like it is.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what strength level you're at. It doesn't matter what fitness level you're at. FS8, every day of the week, hands down, will be for you. Where F45, sometimes depending on the day, cardio or weights, I think you are going to get a different experience.
Okay, well, maybe we should do 2 experiences.
All right, let's do 2.
experiments, I
FS8
should
and
say.
then F45.
Yeah. Sounds perfect.
Perfect.
It looks like I'm going to be a busy boy. Gonna say,
Only 3 days a week, though.
So, see, that's the thing. Like,
I don't know. I kind of, because you're only just starting out, right? If you were coming 3 days a week, then I would say if you want to do something more, you can do 4 to 5 and still have 2 days rest. But starting out, I think that the body will have its first session. You might need 2 days rest and then get to the next one.
even though I train 5 times a week already.
Even for myself, I train every day a week, every day of the week. If I go to FS8, I'm sore the next day because it's different.
Of course.
It's different for me. So if you're coming to a program for 6 weeks doing something different, your body will change because it's something different.
Well, the challenge has been set. Hasn't it? I'm looking forward to it. This is exciting.
Well, I hope you get some results, mate.
Well, there's going to be some questions if I don't, isn't
That's
there?
what I mean.
Yeah.
But
It's going to be interesting documenting it. So,
it will be. It'll be good.
Yeah, and
I'm
then we
excited.
sit back and obviously see the before and afters. And
I'd be really interested to have a look at your muscle and also
which one? That one?
but all of them. I'd be interested to see the muscle volume, as well as your synergy. So making like your symmetrical.
Yep.
So left and right, if there's any imbalances, whether an FS8 will help to, start to bring those balances back in for you. Do you know if you've got any?
I've got a broken clavicle that's probably a little bit shorter than the other one, and I've got a busted shoulder. So
Okay, all right.
there's
We'll
going to
have a
be
look.
some
We'll have a
imbalances. I've got a replacement hip as well too. But
Okay.
they're luckily they're the same length.
Okay.
So I'm not.
You're not
I don't
on one side?
I don't
Okay.
waddle. No. So although I sound pretty fucked up, I'm probably a little bit better than what you'd think. So
Okay.
it's all going to come out in the wash,
It
isn't
will. It will.
It's all going to come out in the wash.
This will be exciting. I'm excited for you.
That's great. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad we've set a challenge because it's given me something to work for.
Yeah.
Look, to be honest with you, I'm going to be really, really honest with you. We've got a beer drinking day for Gabs, which is, I think, May. Was it May, Ash? I think it was May. We can't do it
It's
until...
Saturday the 20th of May.
Oh, there you go. We can't do it until after that. Is that all right?
Yeah, of course.
Can we... So we've set a time. We've
Set a
goal.
time. Yep.
You happy with that?
Absolutely.
All right.
You need to plan for it, and
Yeah.
you need to plan for success.
Yes.
And then
Exactly.
and then we've got a week in Bali.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. Okay.
We're busy, aren't we? No, look, this is going to happen regardless.
Yeah, okay.
regardless. And as I said, I can't wait to sit back down. Hey, look, for you going forward, look, we've talked about all the negative press that F45's had.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate, but I think if you read between the lines, you understand that it's not in the dire straits that the media makes it out to be.
No.
Exactly, coming from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. No. Look, it's not. It's always going to be like that. Like the media will hype everything up. Won't
That's
they?
what they're there for.
That's what they're there
I
for.
fucking hate them sometimes.
Like and that's what we sat there kind of going. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, the media has a lot to answer. We've got at the end of the day, we're small business owners trying to make a living, having information like that coming out and almost fear mongering the fitness industry doesn't do anything towards a brand that you think is going under. Because essentially you're not hitting an F45 above the line HQ. You're hitting small business owners.
Yeah, as you say, small business owners. So if somebody was attacking me personally,
Yeah,
I'd have my back up too.
of course.
I'd be really fucking upset and
Of
be going,
course.
why are you doing this?
Yeah,
The media's got a lot to answer for, isn't it?
they do.
Yeah.
Because you sit there and go, well, you're saying these things for what reason? What are you trying to achieve from this?
Clickbait.
Clickbait, right? But essentially what is happening is that you're scaring the community in wanting to purchase a membership at F45 because you've told them that they're going under.
What do your clients think about it?
My clients, a lot of them just came in checking that I was okay.
Great.
They were just like,
How good's that?
it's perfect. But we create that culture at F45.
Well, you've created
I've
that.
created that culture.
You've created that
They've
culture.
created it. I've just facilitated it. They've created it. But, we're a community that band around each other. And when everything went down, we help each other. We support each other. And that's what an F45 does. You're buying into a community. You're buying into something that's just bigger than a gym that you rock up to every day.
I don't think you could have said that any better, mate. That's fantastic.
Thanks.
Hey, you personally going forward, what's on the horizon for you?
I don't know.
No, you've got
I've
no
got-
aspirations, no goals, no little projects you're working on.
Not at this moment. I just want these two to do well. FS8 for me is my little baby, my newest baby. So I really, it's in its first year. So obviously with any small business, your first year is your hardest.
Oh, for sure.
And so that's pretty much all I'm spending most of my time is doing that. But essentially, I would like another F45. If Josh is watching this, that's what we spoke about last night was you don't want another one, do you? But I do. I think that it's a space that I excel at. I make people feel welcomed and I make people feel like this is where they're meant to be. I love seeing people flourish and I love seeing people develop. I think that it is in itself something to get your own kicks off. Watching someone come in for the first time, not knowing an exercise, and then 6 months later, see them just absolutely excel through their own development, through their own strength, through their own process, flourish into this, member that trains probably harder than what you do. Sometimes I'm a little bit scared of my own members. They want to train with me, and I'm like, oh, and I can't keep up with you. I'm 40, remember? I want to see more of that.
As you say, you're seeing that success and you're seeing people achieve their goals, and you're facilitating that, and the satisfaction from that must be absolutely amazing.
It's a huge satisfaction. It's huge when you see people literally go from strength to strength, and they know it. They know where they're at, and their confidence comes out. And you know, you walk into an F45 and no one's got headphones on. You can't. Right?
Well, it's something I didn't even think about, because I mean everybody at the gym I train have got
headphones.
Headphones.
Right.
Pods,
What does
whatever.
that do? It disconnects people. You walk into an F45, you have to talk to somebody else. You're there to talk to somebody else.
But even just the mechanics of the exercise, so the brain's connected to the muscles, and you need that connection to get the utmost out of what you're trying to achieve. And if you put in fucking noise in there, whatever it is, I mean, you could be listening to a podcast of me.
Yeah.
I would suggest not to. I would say take it out and concentrate on exactly what you're doing.
So, you know, when you see those members that come in for their first time, they're hard pressed against the wall, scared, because this is something.
It's a good thing, though.
It is, but then you watch them literally walk in like they own the place in 6 months' time.
Yeah, and they're standing taller, eh?
They're standing taller.
Standing taller, smiling.
I'm doing this. I can't wait for that exercise. Like, that's what you want to see.
Smashing it.
Yeah.
Mate, I can't wait to get into FS8. I can't
Excellent.
wait to put our program into process, into plan, and see some results.
I can't wait to have you in there too. I'm excited for you.
This is going to be cool.
This is good.
This is it. The relationship started. This
Done.
This is it.
It's already match made in heaven.
Thank you very much for your time today. I really
you.
appreciate it. Look, I hope, obviously, you're going to be back, and that's the good thing about this is I've made you come back.
You have. You've set me up.
This is how we do things around
Right,
here.
I
We
see.
get you in here, and then
Yes.
we trap you.
Okay.
But saying that, I've got to keep up my end of the bargain as well too. So, which as I said, I'm really excited to do. Thank you for your time and thank you for your knowledge. I hope our listeners have taken something away from this, and they're a little bit wiser about F45. They now know about FS8. They now know about Stu.
Yes.
And if anybody wants to know about sleep apnea, we've got your
just gonna say.
we've got your email address at the end of the podcast.
I will
So-
answer any questions about sleep apnea. I'm a big fan of them. Get a CPAP machine. It'll save your life.
Well, it was interesting to hear about your journey. So
Yeah.
once again, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
That's a wrap, Ash.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in and for your time. You know the vibe, I'm steady living until I die. It's a loose state of mind, and we showed you that. Keep it authentic and real, I hope you coming back. Hey, make sure that you subscribe, cause we got it popping all the time, and it's going down. If you wanna elevate, wanna live a better life, keep it locked here. You know it's a loose state of mind, let's go.